Wow, WrestleMania Night 1 is in the books from Dallas, Texas. And before I go into the matches I really liked, let me just point this out. There are times that you and I, as wrestling fans, complain about the build on Raw, the build on SmackDown to be able to get to a certain pay per view. Well, one thing for sure that we always know about wrestling, especially in the WWE, is if you get the match in the ring, more times than not, it's going to deliver. It may not be the finish that you predicted, it may not be exactly how you want it, but the one thing that I can root for are the men and women that are working hard in the WWE for the grandest event in professional wrestling in North America, and that is WrestleMania. When I think about Seth Rollins against Cody Rhodes, we all anticipated that Cody Rhodes was going to be in WWE. And similar to CM Punk coming to AEW, where I was there at the United Center in Chicago, and everyone in Chicago knew that CM Punk was coming. It was on the internet, everybody knew. And people still were anticipating, wondering, like, when will CM Punk come out? Will it be at the beginning? Will it be at the middle of the card? Will it be at the end? And CM Punk came out, and it was glorious. And the same thing here with Cody Rhodes. We've been speculating for months now that Cody Rhodes would be coming to the WWE. It's been written about, and it was speculated, and there he was. There was that anticipation when Seth Rollins was in the ring. Seth Rollins is waiting, and there was just anticipation, and we waited and waited. All of a sudden, the AEW theme of Cody Rhodes played, and everybody was like, wow, in Dallas. Because even though we kept hearing that Cody Rhodes would be in WWE, you just had to see it. The same entrance he had at AEW, where he comes out from underneath the floorboards and comes up, and the same music played from when he was in AEW. And he comes down the ring, he's got the same ring jacket that he had on in AEW. And there he comes down to the ramp and to ringside. And Cody Rhodes is officially back in the WWE. And the question was, would Cody get over? Would he win against Seth Rollins? Because here's a guy here that's been bashing WWE publicly. He's a guy here that was waving the flag and being the flag bearer for AEW. And the first night back, after 6 years away, he wins over Seth Rollins at WrestleMania Night 1. That's an amazing, amazing feat for Cody Rhodes. And it was a physical, hard match. Seth Rollins was talking shit, and he was going after Cody Rhodes, says, welcome to the big leagues and all this other stuff. And Cody Rhodes ends up beating Seth Rollins in a very physical match. That thing was not just some 2, 3, 4 minute match. It was a long physical match. It might have stolen the show for night 1 of WrestleMania. It might have stolen the show. But then you got to Bianca Belair against Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. Man, those two women went after it. It was a really fantastic match. Because of the near pinfalls that we saw from both of them, you know the storyline between the two is in which on SummerSlam in Las Vegas, Becky Lynch comes back and she wins the championship in less than 30 seconds over Bianca Belair, and Belair never gets an opportunity to get a rematch, a meaningful rematch against Becky Lynch. But she gets her comeuppance at WrestleMania for night 1, and you could just tell the crowd was into it. Becky Lynch is clearly the heel. Bianca Belair has proven herself, and so it was the juxtaposition of the strength of Belair against the savviness of Becky Lynch, and Bianca Belair comes out on top, in which was a fantastic match between Belair and Lynch. They put it all on the line, physical, as well as just the quick pinfalls and the moves that those two were making. They were fast and they were strong in that matchup. And it was great to see Stone Cold Steve Austin return to the WWE. So here was my thought. I thought, okay, so Stone Cold Steve Austin comes back, and he's going to be part of the KO show. That's going to be the main event for night 1. They're going to sit there and talk. I was like, wait, Steve's not going to get that physical, right? There might be, maybe some punches thrown here or there, but it's not going to get physical. No, it ends up being a match, and more than likely the retirement match, the official retirement match now for Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's been away since 19 years he's been away from the WWE. And he comes back, and he is a guy that is a very heavy-handed wrestler. Ask anybody that's been in the ring with Steve Austin. He's very heavy-handed, and he was going after Kevin Owens. He was laying the lumber to Kevin Owens. And you saw Steve Austin take some bumps I was kind of concerned. He takes a backdrop and they're on the outside and they're in the crowd brawling. And I said, boy, Steve Austin, I mean, he still has it. And the crowd says, you still got it. You still got it. And the reason why the crowd was saying that is because they saw a guy here that, okay, maybe not as fast as he was 20 years ago, but still he is a person in which you see him out there and the crowd is just in awe of seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin. He meant so much to the Attitude Era of the 1990s, and fans were really into him. And to see him back for the first time in 19 years, where he doesn't look like he's breathing hard, he doesn't look like he was struggling at all. That guy was able to really get it done against Kevin Owens, in which I thought was going to be something short, maybe some kind of involvement. But man, no, there was an actual match. They were up on the stage, they were in the crowd, they were in the ring. That was really fun to watch. So I thought that all in all, we saw a very good night one for WrestleMania. But once again, as I opened up this YouTube to tell you, man, you just got to get these matches in the ring and let the young men and women and the veterans get a chance to work in front of that big, huge crowd at AT&T Stadium. You tell me what was your favorite match from night one. I tell you what, for me, I'm checking off Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, but I'll tell you what, Belair and Lynch, they might have stolen the show. It was just that good. What'd you think?